On the previous episode of Menage À Mind,
Throughout your masturbation periods, would you use pornography or would you use your memories or imagination?
Yeah, you get that from Kegling. So if you Kegel while masturbating,
It's time we have this conversation. In today's chaotic dating world, it's no surprise that many women have lost their desire to pursue any emotional connection. The nonsensical games, the lack of authenticity, the ghosting, the hookup culture, and the mixed signals have taken a toll on their mental health along with their emotional well-being. It's disheartening when the genuine pursuit of connection leads to frustration and disappointment. Women are yearning more. Women are yearning for more than just hooking up, than just unnecessary DMs or unwanted voice notes and pictures. Women are seeking deeper meaning, healthier dialogue, stronger connections, and genuine emotional bonds that transcends superficiality. The dating world, aka the battlefield of nowadays, definitely needs to be revamped. And it's about time we get into a space where the dating world can actually leads to the healthy relationships that many people are seeking. Believe it or not, being in a healthy relationship has the biggest factor on whether or not you will experience happiness for the rest of your life. But in order to do so, we must first learn the rules of the dating game, the strategies that are needed so you can transition from the nonsense to what you are seeking and what you are looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Menage À Mind. For this episode, I decided to call on one of my OGs, one of the men that I truly respect their minds, their views, their understanding of the dating world. This man, known as the OG in Harlem, in Brooklyn, in Queens, in New York City in general, is responsible, according to him,
Mhm.
for 25 plus marriages. In reality, he is somebody that I go to whenever I need to flesh out an idea, hear a different perspective, or just advice on the social media game. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest, Mr. Chad Scott.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What up, man?
Always great seeing you.
How you doing?
Always a pleasure. How are you, man?
Give me some love, man.
Yeah, it's good seeing you,
How you
man.
doing?
How you been?
These are the smallest biceps I've ever seen in my life.
I got you. I'm slim. Yo, thick 'em, I understand.
What size is that shirt?
This is a large.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it's large, baby.
Yeah, okay.
It's good on you, baby.
I am
Yeah.
doing well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with me. As you can see, it's a very important and needed conversation.
Yes.
I gave you an introduction. So
Yes.
is there anything else you want to add to the people that are not familiar to how good you are?
I think it helps, right?
Uh-huh.
So me being the life relationship coach,
Uh-huh.
big on accountability,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, the rings is where people love me for when I
Uh-huh.
post the rings on Instagram. But I always become a talent manager first.
Talent manager.
So that talent management is what helps me on all these other fields.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's why I'm here, happy to have a conversation because I love, but I love it more when it makes sense.
Ooh.
That's all. So
I love love, but I love it more.
oh,
when
it hits different when it
makes
makes sense.
sense. Okay. So you are responsible for 25 marriages,
Well, I say this.
engagements.
Well, all of them married except for one, the recent one, just got engaged. But what I say is, I don't count every ring.
Okay.
So just because I helped coach someone and they get married, I don't be like, oh, that's me. All the rings that you see me post or interact with or say something is women that came to me and thanked me personally and sent me the picture with the ring and said, this is all because of you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be.
So
married.
I don't count rings just to count them. It's like, I got it. No, these are people who actually say, Chad, this is yours. And I'm like, appreciate that.
In hindsight,
Yeah.
when we first linked up years ago,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I was baffled whenever you would say I'm responsible for 20 plus rings.
Mhm.
I'm like, you're taking credit for two people's work,
Mhm.
right? However, as I started to grow in the space, I understand the influence
Mhm.
that we tend to have with those that we work with that may result to their end goals. And for you and for your clients,
Mhm.
those who are being engaged and having a marriage.
But I tell people all the time, my biggest thing when it comes to relationships is that ring is just a byproduct of them doing the work. So it's not the ring is just happenstance because you fell in love with yourself. You set boundaries. You did these work you need to be doing, and you just found someone you're more aligned with. So it's just the ring is cool for marketing. But the real thing is, at the end of the day, it's just a byproduct of you falling in love with yourself.
Yeah. And again, just to go back to what you said, I always say that a marriage is the next step of a healthy relationship.
Mhm.
So when people are making a big deal about it, to me, it never made sense. So I'm like, if you're in a healthier relationship, eventually, if that's one of your goals,
Yeah.
you eventually just take those next steps. So when people propose and they start doing a backflip, they'll jump into the water and they start flying, crying, and making such of a spectacle.
Yeah.
I always wonder, it's a marriage is a natural engagement, a marriage is a natural progression. Why is it that when someone proposes, we tend to have this big reaction? Is it natural or is it because social media influenced?
Well, even before that, when people get married was a big deal, even before social media. What happens is a lot of people feel like you saying the natural digression that it should be like, all right, they get married. Makes sense, right? What happens, a lot of people, and we come to black and brown, do not get married like that. So essentially those moments get celebrated even more because now you see like, all right, you're getting married, you're having kids now, like the whole progression of life. So you, especially for women, it's more struggle because once they turn 30, everybody looking at them funny when you're not married. They're like, what's wrong with you? Go ahead.
I wonder if the reactions is different for other communities, or is it as big? Is it only as big for communities of color? Because you just said, right, for black and brown people weren't getting married like that,
Mhm.
right? So for many of them, it was not expected. It was not in the cards. It was not a natural progression. So when it happens, it's a shock.
Mhm.
Or is it that you feel you've checked that box, like you've reached the goal, like the goal is to me, people whose goal is to get married makes no sense, right?
All right.
Because after marriage, there's still a lot of work needed. It's not the finish line. The finish line is till death,
Yes.
right? So a lot of people are married, but they're not committed to each other. A lot of people are loyal to each other, but they're not committed in the relationship. A lot of married people, that relationship ended a long time ago,
Yeah.
but they're still married.
Because because once again, a lot of people stay in relationships that's not working for them because they don't want to look like failures. And marriage, that divorce stigma hurts a lot of people. So they will stay in unhealthy
Especially
relationship.
women, yes.
So they're like, nah, I'm gonna stay here because if I push the button, what that gonna look like?
Gotcha.
And try to find an identity.
Yeah. The first time I went viral,
Yeah.
the most viral I ever went,
Okay.
right, was when I proposed to my wife in our apartment.
Yes.
And she didn't have that big reaction.
Got it.
She had a delayed reaction off camera,
Yeah.
right? Which was pretty appropriate for her. And that's what I expected. People went on and killed her
Mhm.
and our relationship because she didn't appear to be happy. There was no backflip. There was no dive into the ocean. She didn't jump off a helicopter, right? People felt that was so ungenuine.
Mhm.
But in reality, natural progression. It wasn't a shock that I proposed to her.
Mhm.
It was a matter of time.
Okay.
So to me, it just I understand the influence of social media and its impact. I understand everybody's trying to brand their relationship.
Okay.
I understand couple goals, relationship goals, and etc. And a lot of things to me, because I've been around it.
Got it.
I've been around influencers, I've been around therapists, I've been around coaches
Mhm.
who have this ability to make something appear a different way.
Of course.
but I was in the room. I knew what happened.
The
right?
narrative, yeah.
It's just, and it goes back to marketing.
Mhm.
So when we first started developing that relationship, and you kept on talking about the rings,
Mhm.
and I understand some marketing tool,
Yeah.
but to me, like my marketing, I don't have a marketing.
Yeah.
I don't have a marketing plan.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have a marketing strategy. I just show up and I do my thing, and I allow my work to speak for itself to some degree. So that's why at first I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about, man?
Yeah. Because what happens is, remember, at the end of the day, you're a therapist, right? So for that, you already have that
The
title.
qualifications,
Right?
the okay.
So what happens
I'm
is,
certified.
Yeah.
I'm established.
you out here.
I have my credibility.
Yes.
While for some that may not be a therapist, you have to establish that.
You have to establish that narrative, right? And for me was, I always say this, I'm reluctant with the title.
Now you top tier, man.
But I'm so reluctant with it.
I've witnessed your work.
No, but I hear
You wouldn't be here.
But as I'm saying, like, I'm almost like a reluctant champion. Like, I understand who I am, but I'm more focused on impact. And like I said, relationship, when we talk about other things, relationship, business, that's who I am. It just so happens that the same principles I use in when it comes to managing talent is the same when it comes to dating relationships.
Yeah.
Because who you pick is definitely going to showcase the quality of your life.
Correct.
So now, you said you want to get married? Okay. That's first thing I see.
See, I have a
Go ahead.
problem with that.
That's what it
Don't
goes?
tell me you want to get married. Tell me that you want to be with a partner that will make you happy,
Listen.
that you're willing to make happy, that you're willing to show up for. Then marriage can be a byproduct of that.
Yes. But what happens is, this is why you need to make assessment. Most women want the ring and not the marriage.
Oh, Lord.
So when it comes to that concept, they just want the ring to be posted. They want something big and shiny. They want to show these other women, you ain't get this. Nah. And then now they want to focus on the big wedding. And not understanding that, like you said before, getting married is just the start. So even when somebody get the ring, sometimes I don't hear from them no more. They feel like, I got the ring, Chad. I'm good now. And I'm like, okay. And every wedding I go to, every event I go to, the thank you card when I put the money in, I always say, do not forget date night. Because you're going to have to like this person. You're going to build that friendship.
Yes.
But you get caught up in this whole ring thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you got a ring.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good point. Nowadays, when I go to a wedding, instead of giving money, I give them a coupon for 4 sessions with me.
All right.
Because I know eventually you're going to need it. Right? And when I go to baby showers too,
Yeah.
because I know what happens after you have a child. Lord Jesus. It's the biggest challenge you'll ever experience as a couple. I write in 6 free sessions
It's funny
whenever
because
you're ready.
my accountant, she has 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Similar situation with you, back to back. Right? So
Busy boy.
we was talking.
I'm
and
2 for 2.
She was telling me
missed
how she got girls too. So she was telling me how she did my getting a 3rd one. And I'm like, hey. Sounds amazing. But once again, each kid, we have to create the new dynamics of what it looks like. And like you said, it's people don't look at that part. They just want to have the kid, but not understanding how it is now going to frame our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change.
Yes.
Then you got another kid. It's like juggling. Now we got to figure this out. And now the man may feel like, what about me?
Oh, it's not may, it will. It's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. But that's a conversation for another day.
But like I said,
I brought you here to talk about relationships,
Yes.
right? I've been getting a lot of DMs, a lot of conversations I'm having is women giving up the prospects of eventually having a healthy relationship
Mhm.
because they're just baffled with what's happening in the dating world and what's available to them,
Mhm.
especially when they're around the age from 28 to 33. Like, there's nothing out there, right? In the words of the situationship, there's pee in the dating pool. I'll even go as far as to say there's turd
oh, it's ugly out there.
into the dating scene. So my first question for you, sir, how can women now navigate the lack of self-authenticity that currently exists in the dating world?
Well, once again, we go back to my favorite word, accountability,
Accountability.
right? At the end of the day, no matter what's going on in the world,
Mhm.
no matter what you look like in the world going on, it's about you being core values of what you believe in and navigate that way. We can't convince people to do right by us. We can't overlove someone.
Pause.
What?
Convince.
Uh-huh.
Convince. I just wanted to repeat that a few times
Yeah, go ahead.
for some people that are out there thinking they're gonna convince someone to want to be with them.
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
a lot of times women feel like they basically auditioning for love.
Ooh.
So they feel like if I audition
My
for love
God.
and he picked me, then I will earn the loyalty. I will earn the trust. And that's not how that works.
No.
So yes, I understand the pool is ugly out here. I get it. But once again, is how are you navigating it? Who are you entertaining? Why are you entertaining?
Mm-hmm.
So I was in an event, buying my own business, at a birthday girl party, having a blast. She was like, "Oh, ladies, Chad, he a relationship coach." They first look at me like, "Relationship coach?" And then he's like, "Yeah." So the girl went and told me about her story. She gave me a whole spiel about who she is as a person. She wanted him to be Christ-like. She wanted this, she wanted this, and this, right? She gave me the whole spiel about who this man is, right? The kind of man she wants. Then she told me the guy she dating. Total opposite what she just told me about. So I'm sitting here listening to her, getting it off. And now like, why are we here? And she said to her friend, she said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you about Chad. Like, he's not gonna." Yeah, like, you tell me this is the kind of man you want. But you entertain this man trying to drag him to greatness. You're trying to mold him, trying to build a bay. He's not compatible with you.
Yeah, and I do agree. And to go to that word audition, right?
Mhm.
I think for me and my wife, why it's been so easy, no matter what the challenges are. And I do understand that I have an advantage because this is what I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. But prior to all of that, we still had a relationship.
Mhm.
And to us, we chose each other. And I'm always saying that we chose each other. I didn't audition for her. She didn't audition for me. We show up every day and we still choose each other every day. Even in the moments that when we're upset at each other, we're still choosing each other, right? And to me, it never made sense why the need to try to convince someone to want to be with you. Let's say they do say yes. When does the auditioning stop?
Mhm.
Do you continuously have to audition in your relationship and prove your worth, or that someone should want to be with you for the rest of your life? That gives them too many gray areas where they can go out there and do whatever that they want because they know that you are looking for that acceptance and validation from them. And yes, it does go to the idea of self-love.
Mhm.
I love myself enough to be able to walk away from someone that does not see my value nor is ready for what I have to offer at this moment. And that's okay. It's going to hurt. I'm going to cry. I'm gonna feel lonely,
Mhm.
right? Depending on my age, I might feel like a failure.
Mhm.
But I've been through breakups before. I have enough information to know how to get myself back up, to rebuild myself. Right. So it's not gonna take as long as of a process because I have the experience. But when we are continuously auditioning and trying to convince people, that cycle never ends.
It won't. So what happens again? You come from a place of lacking. If you come from a place of lacking, even when it comes to this whole love language thing, right? Everybody talk about love language, and they're like, "Yo, my love language is." Are you doing it to yourself? Because if your love language is word of affirmation, if you don't say it to yourself and go in the mirror and say that to yourself, if randomo one says, "You're beautiful." Oh, it felt like everything. We have a chemistry here. No. But if you pour into yourself, you appreciate that, but you also understand and set the tone, basically.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are scared to do the work.
And we also need to stop, in general, for
Yeah,
both men and
yeah.
women, we need to stop overly romanticizing basic attachments.
Mhm.
It's basic.
Yeah.
Okay. Being a nice guy or being a nice person is the prerequisite,
Mhm.
not the difference maker. Oh, he's a nice guy.
Mhm.
He should be. It's the lowest expectation of humans.
The bar's so low.
It's ridiculous.
So even me being who I am in real life, people be like, "Oh, wow, Chad." I'm like, this is just me. I'm not even trying to holler at you. There's no, they're waiting for the other shoe to fall. I'm like, I'm just being me. But what happens is, like you said, it's so bad out here that people take any little breadcrumb and think that it's magic. And it's not.
And what's also interesting to me is that women have the power to set the standard. If they collectively had a meeting and agree, these will be our new standards,
Yeah.
and we're going to stick to those standards,
Mhm.
men would feel the need to elevate their game, will show up differently because the expectations are now different, right? But again, there is a ratio of 4 black women per 1 black man.
Yes.
So there's that competition there, right? There's that need for that attention. So what can start as standards up here, others would lower because they understand there's not that many options, and I just want to secure one.
Well, that's about like marketing, right? If you're a DJ and you got $500 for your gigs, but someone underbidding for 150,
They can have that. You could take that because it wasn't meant for me.
See, but a lot of them start questioning, like, what? Man, like, how? No, your bar is your bar. Your standard is your standard, and you should be happy within your life that this should be an add-on. But a lot of people, identity is in marriage. Identity is with the kids. Identity is so attached to where they want to be chosen that they will lower their standards just to grab somebody.
You know what?
Let's say they have somebody.
You know what? I am tired of all the coaches and mental health professionals that have taken my concepts and using it as their own.
Okay.
You know how many people are saying, you need to stop waiting to be chosen and start being the chooser themselves?
Okay.
That was me. Years ago. Okay. You just got in the game and this is what you're saying because nonetheless.
Yeah. But like you said, at the end of the day, I think when people get caught up in not doing the work, feel like somebody should love you floor and door, like you should love me for who I am, and not understanding that you have to now set the tone about how you want to be loved, and it's okay to walk away. It's like you said, it's going to hurt, it's going to suck, but this is my standard. Like, and I live my raps, right? So my thing is the same thing I tell people, I do too.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know it sucks, I know it's hard, I know people try to question you and project their own fears, and also want to give you the homie discount. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like,
What's that? The homie discount is paying full price. If I ever reach out to someone for their services, as how much I usually charge, but since it's you, it's this price. I'm like, nah, bro, you hooking me up by allowing me to pay your full price. Because I damn sure ain't gonna give a discount when you need me.
Yeah, I got you.
That's business.
Yeah.
Right. Like on a more macro level, I do understand the conditioning that has been done, that has allowed women, that has influenced women to have this scarcity mindset and these negative views of themselves. Nowadays, I see that it's changing. There's a lot more women in therapy, learning more about themselves, their identity, their self-esteem, and doing the work. So I do see it changing. I also hear a number of women that are just giving up on the dating game because they're not willing to settle for lower level. What's
lower tier?
Lower tier individuals, right? So I do get that, and also understand that just saying that you need to love yourself better and remain accountable, even though it sounds easy, that's not an easy thing to do, and a lot of work is needed. So everybody that's listening, we do also recommend that you do find a therapist or a coach so you can continue to do your self-work, because the way that you view yourself, the way that you feel about yourself will allow you to show up differently and therefore be willing to accept different things.
I said what I'm talking about. Look at it like we talk business all the time, right? Look at it as you're rebranding, right? So now that you're trying to rebrand yourself, you got to take inventory. What works, what don't work, what you want to prove on. That's why even when I first woman told me, "Child, I want to get married," I go into their self-esteem.
I would not work with somebody whose opening line to me is, "I want to get married." Go ahead, go get married.
It's easy. I tell everybody, get married like getting a record deal. You want to be with someone you're compatible with. For you, the game is to end game with. To be with someone you have life with.
You know what's interesting in general? I have more knowledge of dating than I've ever shared compared to relationships. But I choose to work with those that are married or in a relationship because I feel like their readiness for the work and their ideology is a lot further.
Yeah,
it's a lot more advanced.
Yeah.
Versus the dating game where their opening line is, "I want to get married." That turns me the hell off. Right? So I understand where my disdain
Yeah.
for those type of statements coming.
But but for me, I understand that.
And that's why you're here.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
So
I don't want it. You can have it.
But what happens a lot of time is I don't even talk about relationships. I talk about them first.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, when you get an understanding about their values, their core values, why they're not
Their
insecure about certain, self-assessment, now we can now build off that.
Gotcha.
And then we talk about dating, who should pay for the date and all that other rhetoric that be going crazy online.
Yeah.
But you got to talk about the core, who you are. We can't let outside influences. But the desperation do happen for women. They want to get married. They want to have the kids. They understand there's a time clock going on.
Every time you say they want to get married, I cringe.
I think.
So, the number 2 biggest complaint that most women have about the dating world, I call it the dating game.
Yeah.
Period.
It's still a game, yeah.
Carisha. Period. Is so the question is, right, how can they overcome the ghosting and the lack of clear communication that happens?
All right. Ghosting, right? Somebody ghosts you. You don't have to seek closure from that person. They didn't want to come. They didn't show up, right? But what happens is a lot of women, when somebody ghosts them, they internalize it. What did I do? Did I say this? Did I do this?
Rejection.
So they can't really function and figure out. They take it, what's wrong with them. So now, when the next situation comes around, they're trying to over deliver.
Auditioning again,
right? And not taking accountability, but also take it, realize to set the tone, right? So if I'm saying I want communication in my relationship, I want to talk on the phone, and this person, I'm just a texter, then we're not here. Or you dating this person and they feel like they closed off, no one really talked about their feelings and what they want or what their expectations are. Because a lot of people don't want to rock the boat. And I say, fuck that boat, right? We have to be able to say, let's have the conversation. What your intentions are.
Yeah.
If you just want to have fun, cool. You want to date, cool. But let me know so I can make a judgment call for myself. But a lot of times people want to go with the flow and don't want to mess things up. And then you be like, oh, you've been situationship for 8 months? Years? 3 years? Y'all not together? But, it's understandable. How was it established?
Good point, right? And
so, yes, when it comes to ghosting and all that, yes, how you deal with it is you have to set the tone early about what you're looking for and what you're asking for. If you ask for communication and the person not giving you communication, there's no reason to beat a dead horse.
Okay. So let's switch tone to expectations.
Yeah.
Right. The same way that most people have a list of what their perfect men or their perfect women have, you should also have certain requirements for your relationship. Right. And you should communicate that. And a lot of times there's no communication happening because we're not communicating what our expectations are. So the person doesn't know how they're being judged. So if you're the type of person that prefers to talk on the phone and FaceTime even more often, let them know, hey, my preferred method of communication is to FaceTime and to hear your voice. Actually, right, use your flirtiness to get to your goal even better. When he texts you, you could reply, oh man, that would have sounded so sexy hearing your voice saying that. He'll call you instantly. Or next time he calls you, be like, it's so beautiful to hear your voice. You sound so manly, so hot, or so profound. I enjoy hearing your voice more than just reading a text. There are all of these methods that you can influence someone's behaviors and decision making when it comes to you. But you got to have game. And you got to have the proper mindset and the proper information to do so. I always say eventually that sexual text is going to come. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm about to jump in the shower. Damn, I wish I could shower with you. I'll wash your back and your feet and drink your bath water. You should expect that. Because eventually people want to see how you perform in a sexual manner and what that sexual energy is like, that tension. Right? When you're dating someone, there's always that curiosity and that tension. Some move a lot faster with their comments and their saying, but you should expect it, whether or not it's merited. Now, when responding, you don't want to shut the door on that individual just because of a text. People will have missteps at times, and it's okay to reshift them and educate them, but still maintain that sexual tension. So saying, how dare you say that to me? That is so disrespectful. What kind of man or woman you think I am? Now you just shut down that door, glued it, nailed it, and put cement all over it. Now that's done. That connection is done, right?
Yeah. Like, go
Versus
ahead.
a proper response to, you know what? Us bathing together would definitely be incredible.
Mhm.
But we're not there yet.
Mhm.
If you keep going the way that you're going, eventually we'll get there.
Mhm.
You still responded, set your boundaries. We're not there yet.
Mhm.
Remind this individual, if they keep putting on pressure and perform to the manner they have been performing, there's a possibility that they can get to that goal, but you still also maintain that sexual tension that is very valuable when you're dating someone.
Yeah. You gotta give grace. Like you said, so many women now so close. They any wrong move.
Women and men, we don't get
No.
attacked in these comments,
Nah, it's fine.
right? Because all of those behaviors transcends over gender or sexuality.
Yeah, but you were talking about earlier about women as far as they feel like they over the game.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
I'm bringing it back. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Yeah.
So no, but what happened is that, like you said, it's giving grace with dating. They don't know you, so they're gonna try to touch the feel, see, take a risky text, and see what happens. But like you said, if you just shut down, like, how dare you, and shut it down, they're like, now they over it. But if you be polite with it, be like, you should advocate for yourself. You still setting boundaries, but you're still making sure, like, in due time.
In due time.
Don't worry.
Yes.
I hear you.
And say it in a flirty manner. Like I always say, you got to know how to speak to men.
Yeah.
We always seeking confrontation versus influence. Confrontation creates unnecessary dialogue, unnecessary conflict, while influence is more strategic and intentional. If you're dating a man and you want him to open the car door for you and he hasn't been doing that, or he's done it the first few dates, nah, we go together, so I don't got to do those things. So he's not even thinking of that. Say, I love it when you open my door. I get to see your biceps, your back, and it's so sexy.
Mhm.
This man will open your car door for the rest of his life. You just got to know the appropriate language. I think that us men, like, we're conditioned to work on our pickup lines.
Yeah.
Knowing how to talk
Oh,
to
yeah.
women and win them over or talk them out of their panties and etc. While women never, to some degree, weren't educated on, apart from showing up and taking. Be very mindful here, right? Women were not as educated on what does game look like outside of the bedroom, outside of the home.
Yeah. A lot of women do not know how to flirt or show personality or be charisma.
My wife still can't flirt. My wife is surprised on how I can turn every comment into a sexual comment. Like, how do you do that? I'm like, you gave me the opening.
You mean see that coming? But yeah, so a lot of
She's like, I want a Twinkie. Too easy, babe.
yeah.
I want some ice cream. I want something sweet. Too easy. Like, and she'll look at me like, how does your brain work? I'm like, girl, it's been 10 plus years. How you still surprised?
A homing of skills.
Come on, man.
But like you said, so what happens is, like you said, women have to find ways to try to learn men and how using their feminine energy, whatever, to get influence those decision making. But if you are doing those things and you're still not getting the results you're looking for, then you're gonna have to make executive decisions soon.
I got it. Ladies, you are the prize. 100%. You are the prize. We all want you. We all want to be with you. You're amazing. Your skin is soft. Your hair is gorgeous. It's in natural format, or however you choose to display it. We understand that. But also us men, we also want to feel pursued and wanted. And you have to be able to communicate that in a way that invokes certain emotions out of us as well. The same way that we do it for you. With my couples, I always have the woman plan the first date night. And they tend to struggle.
Yeah.
You are going to tell him when to show up and at what time to be ready. You're going to take care of everything else. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. You've never had to plan a date night before. You've never had to put in that work. You're just used to being picked up and yeah.
But, and like you said, we got to make sure that we give women and men advice, right? So my thing with men, when they come to that space of trying to communicate, when it comes to women, they move like mad computer tabs is on it, right? The mad computer tabs is open.
Women are very good at multitasking.
Right?
How many cleanups I got to do for you, man?
It's fine. So within that, you have to understand that being a man of your word will help her get more in the relaxed energy,
Feminine state.
feminine state. So in those kind of moments is that being a man of your word and be consistent in that, you will get this kind of interesting conversation back and forth. But when you feel like just off GP or just off general, I should be able to get the feminine energy. You should be the want me. You should be nice to me. You should be kind. Be polite. I hear you, but show up your character.
You're
Go ahead.
going too easy on these dudes that are saying this nonsense. My guy, my G, my king, my brother. If you do what you're supposed to do for your lady,
Mhm.
and she's well taken care of, and she feels love,
Mhm.
and her cup is full,
Mhm.
she will have no problem filling up your cup to the degree that you desire it. The reason why you claim
Mhm.
that she's masculine or spend so much time in her masculine energy is because she feels the need to fight for herself, her rights, and her needs. If those are taken care of, it will happen naturally. I always say, if you have a problem with your lady or she's not doing something that she used to do or you want her to do, don't take that to her. Sit down for a second, pull out a notebook, ask yourself this question. What are the things that I used to do or that I could have done that I haven't done that has not allowed the space for her to be in her feminine space to cater to certain needs of mine? It's that simple.
Yeah, but a lot of people, ego comes in.
Accountability.
But people want to play victim all the time.
I'm on your ass. I don't play that game.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just always that kind of conflict that could be avoided if you say, "Wait a minute, what am I doing here? How can I show up differently?" And then see, and then now, if you're doing all you could possibly do to try to shift and move things, and they're not responding, then you have to now figure out what's the next step is.
You know who started monogamy?
Who started it?
Men.
Mhm.
Ask me why. Ask me why.
Why did men start it?
Why did men start monogamy? It's very simple, brother. Survival of the fittest.
Mhm.
If those that had the most resources, the wealthier and the more fit and the more physically best looking
Mhm.
were not to get married or be part of monogamy, they would have anyone and everyone that they want.
Mhm.
So, in order to create space for everybody else, the concept of monogamy was started. So, the men that are at a lower tier in terms of resources,
Mhm.
influence, social status, income, physicality, or etc., also have a pool that they can choose from.
Mhm.
Think about it, right? If you were a woman and there was these groups of men that had all of the resources in the world and monogamy was not a concept of society, you more than likely will go with them
Mhm.
versus the lower tier individual that doesn't have as much to offer.
Makes sense, and that's why the frustration happens.
And that's
Yeah.
why the bus driver conversation that took place took place.
The Jedi mind trick, yeah, Jim.
So the men that are out here complaining about monogamy,
Mhm.
just know monogamy was started so you can have the right to complain about monogamy because you feel like you deserve more than that. But in reality, it was started so you can actually have options, buddy.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
See how they feel about that one.
That's okay. So my next question for you in general is, how can women navigate this hookup culture and actually find relationships with emotional meaning?
Well, I tell people all the time, right? You have to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not built for casual sex, do not partake. If your heart and your sugar walls is attached, do not engage. Don't want to say that word, right? So what happens is you have to understand that does not mean anything, right? You can have sex with someone and they may not want the connection and just want to have sex with you. You trying to feel like you maybe the old fashioned way, if I give him my sugar walls, I could pass him my heart and he gonna fall in love with me that way.
How you come up with that, man?
She was, that's an old saying.
Oh my God, you showing your age, buddy.
Yeah, it's fine. So at the end of the day, those things happen, right? So with women have to really be honest with themselves that if they can't engage in that kind of casual sex, you're gonna have to date men. And a lot of men may say, I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's not your person. But a lot of people trying to force it, like, man, maybe if I give him sex or I do this for him. No. But that's the thing. You have to really be honest. If you can deal with casual sex, cool. Have a blast. But if you not build like that, if having sex with you is a contract signing, that you have to make sure when you date that person, you really feel like that's the person for you.
Communicate it.
Yeah. But
communicate it.
Yeah.
Communicate it. If it's not, nobody can read your mind.
Yes.
Set your expectations, communicate it, hear their feedback on it.
Mhm.
Right? Just because you say it doesn't mean now it's an implied rule.
Yeah.
The receiver must also agree to those rules. That's why the feedback is necessary. Next question for you. I had some she gonna kill me for this, right?
Safe space.
They're dating someone,
Mhm.
they're being sexually active with that individual, but they're refusing to do oral with that individual because it's not a relationship yet.
Mhm.
I don't want to showcase everything that I have. I got to keep something in the tuck. Even though to me that's backwards. Right? And not really, because if you're having sex or using a condom, the less likely to catch an STD or etc.
Really...
When you're engaging in oral, most men don't want oral with a condom. So I get the sense that it's more intimate. Right?
Yeah.
But to me, I'm of the mindset that if you're going to partake in something, you should fully partake in it unless there's a trauma involved in that department, right? Like if you're going to go for a job, you go there and you perform as best as possible. Not say, when I get the raise is when I'm going to step up my game. To me, that doesn't make sense. To me.
Yes.
What are your feelings about that?
There's a lot of women that have that concept. They want to leave something for the relationship or leave something for the marriage. So they be like, listen, I don't want to do oral until you my man, or I'm not going to do backdoor until you my husband. So it's like, for your understanding, it's like, go hard or go home. If we having a sex experience, let's have a sexual experience. For them, they feel like, let me hold on to something. I'm trying to give you some breadcrumbs, so hopefully you will now sign up for the
potential.
Potential. The dream.
You hear that word, right?
Yeah.
Potential.
Have an expiration date.
Potential.
Yes.
What happens once I experience that potential is now what I thought it's going to be. Then what?
The bait and switch.
That makes no sense to me.
But once again, in their mind, they try to say, this is how we can meet halfway. I'm going to give you sex, but if you want the other thing, I'm going to need the title.
We're going to need to sign a contract.
Because it's not up to par with how I like it, what happens. So listen, a lot of people lie to themselves and they're delusional. So you have to understand when you communicate that to the partner. If they sign on to it, cool. If the guy signed on to it. But a lot of times people don't want to rock the boat, so they don't have that conversation, or they say it later. And you be like, wait, no, you don't do oral. No, you're not my man. So then, what?
We're dating. We're in a relationship. But certain things require a tier level. Yeah. Got it. You see, the biggest mistake that younger couples tend to make is that they get married for potential, right? They see that someone has all of this potential. Doesn't mean that there's a guarantee. So they're not dating this current version or marrying this current version of this person. They are marrying what they think they're going to be in 5, 10, 15 years from now. And in a lot of cases, these individuals don't reach those expectations that you had of them. So eventually there's that resentment that kicks in because I expected you to be here by now, but you're not. I expected you to have all of these assets or be that person and reach those goals, and you have yet to do that. More than likely, you're not going to. So now I'm regretting that choice by agreeing to be with you early on for that purpose. Hence why a lot of marriages fail. Hence why the divorce rate, it is what it is to date. I think what older individuals have learned, whether or not they've gone through through a divorce prior, or they just dated enough and they are of an older age, they're marrying and dating the person at their current version now.
Mhm.
Okay, this is who you are.
Mhm.
This is who you are. I'm choosing to marry you because of who you are. Whatever you accomplish after that is a bonus, is a sprinkle, not a requirement, not the difference maker. Hence why these marriages do a lot better.
Yeah. Because what happened is people think marriage is a
So
married
hold
wine.
on.
Go ahead.
So just to go back to this dialogue,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this here because I want you to be interested and
Mhm.
piqued by this potential that you will reach once we've established this.
Mhm.
Makes no sense to me. Because if you tell me, if I'm dating you, saying,
Yeah.
hey, we can't do this until we're married, I'm expecting it to blow my mind. My expectations of it is so high because I've been waiting for it, and then it happens and it doesn't take place. Makes no sense to me. Now I'm looking at you and I'm upset.
Mhm.
I'm resentful. And that's what will muddy up a healthy relationship.
Like I said, a lot of time when it comes to relationships,
That was fire, by the
it
way.
was great.
Give me some.
Great job.
Huh.
You
My
gonna
head.
respect it.
Huh.
Clip it up. So
5 minutes?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it all comes down to, like you said before, when it comes to first marriage. A lot of times, second marriage is more successful because like, ooh, I now I know what I want now. I would think about potential. Now I'm really thinking about I'm dating someone at the level that I love them, and this is bonus. But a lot of times people get so caught up and feel like getting married is a magic wand. So now they're gonna be my freak. Now they're gonna be the cook. Now they're gonna do all these things. Now they open up a new lock. And that's not how it is. You should be able to fall in love and marry that person in a current version and then see where we at. But you already see so many red flags, yellow flags, you can't power through that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people want to build a bed. They want to feel like I invested this time. I've been with this guy for 10 years. I'm gonna get mines. Bless their hearts.
My man. Well, I want to say thank you. This was one of my most enjoyable, most fun conversation. I don't get a chance to really talk about the dating aspect because I'm in the relationship sector.
Yes.
So it's always good to flex those muscles of mine and to have those conversations because prior to being married, they have to go through all of that. And a lot of times there's a lot of unconditioning needed in relationships that were acquired during the dating game. So again, I want to say thank you for being present here today. Let people know where to find you, how to book you, and etc.
Yes. So all social media, Chad Scott here. And like I said, we come to relationships, coaching, life, and also always been a talent manager.
Huh?
But yeah,
Well, you never managed me.
I advise you.
True.
One of your advisors.
True. For free. Free 99, man. Oh man, this was great.
Pleasure, man.
Make sure that you like, subscribe, please comment on all of our YouTube pages and all of the episodes. It was a pleasure to always be of service to you guys, our community. We hope that you took a lot of takeaways from here. And I think one word that really captures everything that we talked about is be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful of who you are. Be mindful of who you're allowing yourself to be around. Be mindful of the activities that you're choosing to engage in. Be mindful on how you conduct yourself. Be mindful of your speech. Be mindful of your expectations. Just be mindful.
Love it.
Talk to Max, signing out.
On the next episode of Ménage À Mind.
We don't gotta talk, just supposed to try this.
And I do so by removing access.
We don't have to really treat the women as with much care because there's more women.